So this is day one of my blog. I decided to start a blog. That's really disrespectful, Rosie. I decided to start a blog talking about my creativity. Rosie, get over here. To talk about my creative endeavors. Right now I'm like, my brain is kind of fried because I started writing the second Victoria Gray book about, during the musical, and it just has been messing with my brain so much because there's stuff I need to carry out from the first book that needs to go into the second book, and I'm not a novelist, or I've never been a novelist. So like, I've been debating taking classes to kind of help me do that. I'm also finding that like I don't really that doesn't sound like something I love. I'm like, maybe I don't mind doing it my own way for a little bit, but then that leads me back to the same issue where it's just like, okay, so then I'm figuring it out with my own rules, which means there's not really like a way to, like I have to come up with my own solutions. Like I can't just look up some help or any practical methods. But I've been having fun, like Victoria Gray's just been messing with my head because of everything I have to keep track of. And then sometimes I find myself being like, is this even a series I want to continue? Like, it's so dramatic and it just escalates, and I kind of first saw it being like similar to shows I grew up with, where it's like episodic and maybe this girl's quirky and goes on adventures, but it's just I've just grown so attached to like the heart of it that I really like. It's driven by like intensity more than it is comedy, so I find myself like it's hard to go back to it realistically. But and something that's been giving me a lot of perspective on working on the Victoria Gray series is this new book. I was asked to speak at some place in my hometown in Collingswood, New Jersey, and I'm like, maybe I should have a new book by then. And I've had this idea for about 4 months, and it's pretty easy to like execute. Like I was just thinking, like, base it off like the show I did when I was little. I used to film my stuffed animals in the backyard and call it the Rabbit Show, but it was like basically just me being stupid and being funny and alone. I was just bored when I was that age, and I made like 96 half-hour episodes about these little stuffed animals, and I'm like, that's like perfect for a book. Like as long as I could like finish my comedy, or as long as I could like kind of tune it back to like the ignorance of like growing up when I was at that age and what I thought was funny at that age, and seeing if like I could kind of tune into that like middle school Johnny and see if middle school Johnny has like a connection to the middle schooler kids of this age. So I created this stuffed animal book series where I'm like, where it is more like kind of what I didn't get to do in my first novel, where I'm like, let me just make every chapter episodic. It's like own standalone story, and just like have fun, like just basically like do whatever I want and let my sitcom fantasies come true with like whatever I can do. So I started that book, and it's called Stuffed Avenue, and it's called Stuffed Avenue, and it's about these stuffed animals, all with like kind of social issues, or like issues with social cues and social etiquette, and this one rabbit that kind of named Bunny, ironically. Or is that ironic? No, it's not. And it's about all of them kind of like post their owner, or post like the kid growing up. Like it's more about like this community, because I've been like with Victoria Gray, I've been doing this character focused, like lead focused book, where I'm like, okay, let me kind of focus on the lead story, not necessarily make it an ensemble cast. Obviously that didn't end up being what the book was, but like this in nature is like, okay, I have like the character I see as myself, but it's mainly an ensemble book series. And that kind of like, I don't know, I feel like the rigidness of like, oh, the main character has to like be the one that's always making something happen, something always has to be moving. When we put up the musical of Victoria Gray, it was like really hard, like the musical of the first book, it was really hard for people to understand what was going on because of how much plot advanced. I feel like Victoria Gray kept me very stuck on the rules, and I went for a very plot focused story where it's this one character driving what's going on, and that kind of, it's hard. Like I feel like comedy comes more naturally to me when there's like an ensemble of characters. So I ended up like kind of like being like, okay, screw the rules, like let me just do it like by itself, kind of like how plays do. Like a lot of what I've been learning about writing for theater recently is like more like characters are more fleshed out because there's less plot. And so I'm hoping this new series, I'm hoping it could be like my escape from all the rules I have to follow with Victoria Gray, because I still love it. And every time I'm working on Stuffed Avenue, I'm like, dang, this like really makes me happy. It makes me smile. It makes me feel positive, and I like writing something that makes me feel positive. But then there's also, you know, Victoria Gray, which makes me feel heard and seen. Like it's like a very exaggerated perspective of how I see the world, and it's a lot more negative, and it's a lot more like how I think people should be, how to view empathy in like a very third person way. And like that's just like, I love writing that, but like when I'm done writing Victoria Gray, I'm like, dang, like that was intense. I felt like I just cried on the page for like 12 hours straight. And now I'm getting to break from that. So instead of like crying onto the page, I'm more like laughing onto the page. So writing Stuffed Avenue has been kind of like really nice. Like I was very inspired, so I like called just an old composer friend that I used to make music with, and I was like, can we make like a single, something like happy and upbeat? Because like when is my next musical gonna come out? I only have Authenticity and Victoria Gray, and they were so expensive to put up, but I love writing songs. So I was like, okay, let me make this like at least just like one song, one like happy-go-lucky song that captures like the spirit of the book. And you know, like, and then like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. And then I wanted to capture like the spirit of the book onto a song, you know, without necessarily making it a huge musical. And then so today I was just making pictures for Stuffed Avenue. Like I hired this girl that's really good. Her name's Jasmine, and she's a really good artist, and her art style was like, okay, that's kind of how I see, you know, my childhood being in a book. And so today I kind of went through the book. When I wrote the book, I hired 7 different authors or 7 different screenwriters, because I want it to be more like a kid show book. So I got like people with experience in kid show writing, and I had them each write a chapter, and then I went through and kind of put my voice into the chapter. I feel bad because it's like they did such a good job, but I changed so much. But I feel like that is kind of like the nature of like TV and book writing. Like it ends up not being, you know, between editing, story editing, like it's just gonna end up being less of your voice than you'd like, because you have to translate it to people or for people. I mean, anyway, the point is, yeah, like, so I hired 7 writers for this book, and then I had so much fun editing it all, and I put like 6 stories in myself, and I really feel like I built the world around my childhood and what I want for Stuffed Avenue, and these characters like I created so long ago. And Jasmine is such a good artist, and she's like really, you know, we've only done character sketches, but like we're like it's coming to life really well. I felt like I have so much to write right now, so I've been but today I decided like, okay, I just really need to like commit to the Stuffed Avenue book for a little bit longer, because I want to make sure that everything goes 100% the way I want it to. So I've been going through the book and actually sketching myself out like what I want to see, like how I want it to be funny. And on like the budget, like I cannot pay her more than like $1,000, so I really have to be like very careful and cognizant about which pictures I want and what I want them to be. So I'm like, I am trying to treat everything with care and not just throw money out the window. Like I want it to be 100% what I want. So I've been like doing these crappy sketches. I want to like show them on the screen right now. That'd be cool. But then I'm gonna I've just been working on these crappy sketches and like getting enough for her to work off of, because it'll be so much quicker. And if I want it to be done by October, I mean, today's July 21st because the Barbie movie just came out. Yeah, or 22nd. So now I'm just going to keep adding to these pictures and drawing, and I mean, it doesn't feel like it's helping my writing, but then I'm like, you know, it is kind of like I don't know, storytelling and drawing pictures are very, very close. And I'm very like, okay, if I can only have one picture for this whole chapter, what would it be and how would it represent it? And that was really important that's really important to do. So I think I'm gonna take a break from writing anything else today and just focus on that book, because October 7th is coming. And that kind of leads me to my next topic. My boss, I babysit for a living, but my boss connected me to somebody who works with this online theater website. And if you know me outside of this, you know that I'm trying to make like a theater company and write musicals and kind of like make it another stream of income off of like mental health related musicals for teens and ways to like make them fun for schools. But it's like really hard to connect to schools. Like for 2 years I've been calling schools and trying to get their attention, and it's not working. Like last night I was on LinkedIn and researching, and like sometimes I'll just do it before bed, and I'm like, It just drives me crazy. I just feel like it should be easier, so I do it so much more often. But I digress. That is, I'm not talking about my wasted time. Actually, it's not wasted time. It's good time. But yeah, so I talked to this publisher and, not publisher. So my boss's friend is asked me, like, he wants to talk about my musicals, but he was saying that, like, like high schools might want more, like, half an hour with hour-based plays with about like 10 characters. Yeah, he messaged me like 5 days ago. He said, I like your scripts and I like all this stuff. Something I think would be good to show to this service is something like a half hour or an hour long, like showcasing like 10 characters, like so students could play those 10 characters. And I was like, oh gosh, I only have musicals. So like I mentally told myself, okay, I'm gonna write a new thing to give to him and I want to do it soon. But I didn't like commit to it because I don't want to be like, oh, I want to write a whole thing in like a week. I'm still like kind of working on Stuffed Avenue and Victoria Gray. But then like this is really important and I find myself missing writing musicals all the time. I'm like, I should always be writing a song. Like even if it's not going somewhere, I'd still like to be writing songs, but I can't like really develop that into a career unless I actually like actively take like even like small steps. So I try not to put pressure on myself to be like, write this in a week, but then I'm like, it would be kind of cool if you turned it in like 4 days. So I've been writing, so I had a new idea on the plane ride home from visiting my friends in New Jersey, where I'm like, okay, what if I make a play about, like a half-hour play about campers that are all influencers and they're all stuck on this island and they're forced to be placed in like social situations. And I think that was a funny idea. So I like went to my friend John Tom's house the other day and I just sat and I wrote the day after too, and next thing I know, I finished it. I'm really happy with it. But so I'm probably gonna turn that in within the next couple days. I just can't help but be scared to figure out if it's better to finish Stuffed Avenue so we can get to the next phase. Like, should I be drawing for Stuffed Avenue so I can get it to where it needs to be in the next 2 months, which is a personal project. It's not like it's going to die if anybody does it, or get this half-hour play to this guy to be seen on a website. Because I feel like people lose interest if it's like 2-3 weeks. I want to like give a good impression and be like, look what I wrote, so he understands how easy it is for me to develop the specific characters I develop. I mean, just hearing myself talk out loud, I feel like I'd rather do the thing that's coming up sooner than later, because like I said, Stuffed Avenue doesn't need to be done super soon. I do need it done by October 7th though. And I released the audiobook for the first Victoria Gray a while ago, and I've released the audiobook for Victoria Gray like 6 months after, so I didn't feel like promoting it. I haven't been promoting it, so like nobody's really bought it. It's really hard to be self-published. It's really hard to like push forward so quickly every day like this to be completely H. But I'm gonna go back to taking this like one thing at a time. I'm gonna focus on I'm gonna draw pictures for Stuffed Avenue just because it's like making me happy and I just want to do that. And then I'm gonna suggest to the kid I babysit's parents if me and him can host the script read for the influencer camp influence script, because that would kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I could work and also teach him like about writing and then fix that script in one, and then maybe send it over to the guy. But yeah, I don't know, that I'll probably, yeah, let me start with Stuffed Avenue, go to that, and then I should probably get on with my day, maybe play some Mario Party. But yeah, so I'm thinking this is my first one, but I'm trying to vlog my creative process, because I think I'm gonna start stepping it up. Like I did it 6 hours a day when I was doing Victoria Gray, and that kind of messed with my mind because I felt so like isolated. But maybe like if I make these videos and follow my process of these next couple things I'm working on, I could like, I don't know, maybe like somebody could do a study, not on me because that's a little self-centered, but like a study on at least just like, I don't know, like what they grew up telling us, like we should be writing every day, we should be doing this every day, but what it's been doing to my brain is not natural. I'm like, if you guys did this every day, you'd be crazy, because I feel like I'm going crazy writing every day. And sometimes I'm doing 4 hours, sometimes I'm doing 6, but like like devoted concentration like really like puts you into another realm, and it's not easy to get out. It's kind of like a breakup. You need like 6 months to get out of a like 3-month relationship. I need like 5 hours to get out of like a 2-hour writing session. That's what I'll be working on. And yeah, or I'm working on this creative series, see if we can like kind of break down like what this does to a person. So if I go crazy and insane from writing this much, well, if I go crazy and insane from writing this much, you can be able to watch these videos and see how bad it got. But also, like, I don't know, it's just, I feel very gifted in life to be able to do this. Like, I have a job that's like paying me good enough to have enough free time to write. And I'm gonna, like, I don't know, there's a lot of, I really want to share my journey of the ups and downs of my brain when I go through writing this much, this quickly. Because it is so, it's just fun. It feels like I'm at the park. And all my friends, the words, are swinging on the swing. I don't know, that was a weird metaphor. But the point is, yeah, I'm gonna get back to that. I'm gonna try to post every day, vlog every day. Goodbye! Oh, do you like my DVDs? I wish my cat came back. Okay, see you tomorrow.